Hello da Tangam, welcome to Gully Classroom. This is the third lecture. In which chapter, sir? In the chapter Life Processes. In CBSE 10th Standard Biology Science Book Chapter 6 Life Processes. This is the third lecture that is taken in English. This is the third lecture that is taken in English. Okay, sir. What are we going to learn in this particular lecture? In this particular lecture, we are going to learn about our complete digestive system. What is digestion? Digestion is basically the process by which the food, which consists of carbohydrates, proteins and fats, are converted into simpler components, are converted into smaller pieces that can be easily absorbed and assimilated by the body. Okay, sir. What is carbohydrates converted into? Carbohydrates, which is usually consumed in the form of starch. Carbohydrates, which is usually consumed in the form of starch, which is in fact a complex carbohydrate, which is in fact a complex sugar, is broken down into simple carbohydrates or simple sugars. What about proteins, sir? Proteins are broken into amino acids. What about fats, sir? Fats are broken into fatty acids and glycerol. Fats are broken into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, sir. Now I am comfortable with the understanding of what is digestion. Okay, where does digestion take place? Digestion takes place in the digestive canal. The digestive canal is otherwise called as alimentary canal. This alimentary canal is a long tube that is extending from the mouth to the anus. You are taking food through the mouth. So it is starting at the mouth. Let me repeat myself. Digestion starts at the mouth. Okay, sir. Then what is happening? As the food is digested and the waste material from digestion is generated, this waste material is sent outside through the anus. This waste material from digestion is sent outside through the anal sphincter. Okay, sir. So now I know what is alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a long tube that is extending from the mouth to the anus. Digestion is taking place all throughout the alimentary canal. All throughout the alimentary canal. Okay. Sir, where is your thundu? Oh my god, I forgot it. Give me a couple of seconds. Yeah, let me continue the class without any break. Okay. Now I know what is alimentary canal. Now let us go for what is enzyme. This food, carbohydrates needs to be broken into simple sugars, proteins to amino acids, fats to fatty acids and glycerol. This needs to be done by enzymes. Enzymes are biocatalysts. Sir, before understanding biocatalyst, let me understand first what is catalyst. Catalyst is a substance that helps to speed up or slow down a reaction. In this context, the reaction is usually speeded up. So let me try to give an idea of what that definition is. Catalyst is a substance that speeds up a particular chemical reaction, that facilitates a particular chemical reaction. Sometimes a chemical reaction will only happen when you add a catalyst. So catalyst means, a good example is a teacher. Let us say myself. Right now I am teaching a subject. You are sitting over there. When you are learning, I am not doing any direct participation in your learning, but I am helping you to understand the subject in a better way so that you can learn the subject in a better way. So a good teacher is like a good catalyst. A good teacher helps the student learn the subject faster, helps the student understand the subject faster. In a similar way, a catalyst helps a chemical reaction to undergo in a faster rate. It speeds up a chemical reaction. So enzymes are biological catalysts. They are catalysts who work inside the body. Biological catalysts that increase or decrease the speed of a biological reaction without actually participating in the reaction. The catalyst, the biocatalyst, which speeds up or slows down a biological reaction without actually participating in the reaction, is called as enzyme. So the food is broken with the help of enzymatic action. With the help of enzyme action. Are you comfortable with what is enzymes? These enzymes are secreted by different parts of our body. Some enzymes are secreted from the saliva, some enzymes are secreted by the gastric glands of the stomach, some enzymes are secreted by the pancreas, some enzymes are secreted by your small intestine. Many different enzymes react with the food at different parts of our digestive system and help in its digestion. Okay, sir. Now I understand what are enzymes. Now let us go for our complete digestion. Digestion starts in the mouth. What happens when you are eating food? As soon as you put food in your mouth, the salivary glands are secreting saliva. Sir, how many salivary glands are there? There are 3 salivary glands. One particular salivary gland is nearby to your ear. It is called as parotid salivary gland. In fact, parotid means behind the ear. So, the salivary gland present in here is called as parotid salivary gland. There is another salivary gland present below the tongue. There is another salivary gland present below the tongue that is called as sublingual. Lingual means language that comes from the tongue. So, sublingual salivary gland. There is another salivary gland that is present literally beneath our sublingual salivary gland. It is called as submandibular salivary gland. Why does this salivary gland named as submandibular salivary gland? This part, the lower jaw, in technical terms in biology is called as mandible. So because the salivary gland is present at the center of this jaw, it is called as submandibular salivary gland. These 3 salivary glands are secreting a lot of saliva. Why is saliva getting secreted? The saliva is lubricating the crushing of the different types of food that you are eating. You are eating different kinds of food. What is saliva doing? Saliva is crushing the different kinds of food. Once it crushes the different kinds of food, it converts this food particles into a shapeless ball. This shapeless ball is called as bolus. The process of crushing the food and breaking its texture, converting it into a shapeless ball is called as mastication. So what is mastication? Mastication is the process by which different types of food are chewed by the teeth and the muscular tongue. The food is mixed thoroughly with the saliva and a shapeless ball called as bolus is produced. This is called as mastication. Okay, what is the purpose of bolus? Bolus helps in the smooth passage of the food through the soft lining of the canal. Which canal? Esophagus, food pipe, gut. So it has so many different names. This can be called as gut, it can be called as esophagus, it can be called as food pipe, and the food must go through this pipe smoothly. So we are making a bolus. Okay, sir, let me ask you a question. Absolutely, Tangam. Sir, sometimes after chewing for some time, if I take the food out and smell it, I am not really comfortable with the smell. Once the food mixes with the saliva, the smell is very, very bad. Why, sir? Because just as I said a couple of minutes before, digestion starts in the mouth itself. In the mouth, saliva has salivary amylase. Obviously, saliva is given by the salivary glands. The salivary amylase is present in the saliva. It's otherwise called as ptyalin. What is the function of salivary amylase? Salivary amylase breaks down starch into simple sugar. What are the other functions, sir? 30% of all starch is broken into a simple sugar called as maltose. Starch is a complex sugar. 30% of all the starch is broken into maltose. Also, there are antibacterial agents called as lysosomes present in the saliva. These 2 points, which 2 points? Antibacterial agent and the breaking of starch, 30% of starch into maltose. You will learn about this in higher secondary classes. Let us get back to our 10th standard syllabus. Anyways, what are they giving in 10th standard syllabus? Salivary amylase or ptyalin is breaking the starch into simple sugar. What is the process by which you are swallowing the food? The process of swallowing the food through the pharynx. into the esophagus is called as deglutition, that is the process of swallowing the food through the pharynx into the food pipe. Okay, sir. Now I am understanding what is taking place in the mouth. Now let me ask you a question. How is food reaching through the food pipe? How is food reaching through the food pipe into the stomach? Okay, let us say this is our food pipe. Okay, sir, I am fine with understanding that this is the food pipe. Let us say you have a small ball stuck right in the middle. How will you get to the small ball? You will squeeze this food pipe. And push the ball down. You will squeeze and push the ball down. The same thing is happening in esophagus. How, sir? In esophagus, what is happening? Here there is bolus. This bolus is pushed down through successive contraction. Right now, where my finger is there, what is taking place? A contraction is taking place. Here what is taking place? An expansion is taking place. Now what is happening? Here it is expanding, here it is contracting. Here it is expanding, here it is contracting. Wherever I am pinching my fingers, contraction is taking place. This type of successive contraction and expansion that pushes the food through the food pipe is called as peristalsis. Peristalsis is the muscles of the canal lining. The muscles of the food pipe canal lining, what are they doing? They are successively contracting and expanding rhythmically with a slow rhythm, and they are pushing the food all along the gut. This is called as peristalsis. Okay, now are you understanding the idea of peristalsis? Okay, sir. Once the food by the process of peristalsis gets near the stomach, what happens, sir? Here there is a sphincter. Here there is a gateway. A gateway in digestive system is called as sphincter. What is the name of this sphincter? This particular sphincter is called as cardiac sphincter because the heart is present adjacent to this particular sphincter. Okay, sir. Does this particular sphincter have any other names? Absolutely. This sphincter is also called as gastroesophageal sphincter. Anything associated with the stomach is called as gastro. So gastroesophageal because it is associated with esophagus. Gastroesophageal sphincter controls and regulates the amount of food that is getting into the stomach. And what else does it do? Because it controls and regulates the amount of food that is getting into the stomach, what do we have? We have a stomach that can digest food in very small amounts, in sections. The stomach can handle all the food one by one. Okay, sir. I am comfortable with this. Once the food gets into the stomach, what happens, sir? Once the food gets into the stomach, the gastric glands in the stomach secrete HCl, pepsin and mucus. Sir, before we get into HCl, pepsin and mucus, doesn't the stomach expand once the food gets into it? Yes, stomach is in fact a very large organ. It expands when the food gets into it. Okay, sir. Now continue, sir. Okay, so the gastric glands in the stomach wall secrete HCl, pepsin and mucus. What is the function of HCl? HCl or hydrochloric acid is a mineral acid. This HCl provides an acidic medium for digestion. What does HCl do? Food is digested in the acid of hydrochloric acid. Obviously, food is digested in stomach because of HCl. HCl is corrosive in nature. HCl corrodes food. HCl breaks the food apart. Also, HCl kills pathogens in the food. If there are any bacteria or fungi or unwanted pathogens in the food, it is killed by HCl. Also, HCl converts inactive pepsinogen into pepsin. We have an enzyme in the stomach which is called as pepsin, but it is not usually in an active form. It is usually in an inactive form called as pepsinogen. So, what does HCl do? HCl converts inactive pepsinogen into the active enzyme pepsin, and this pepsin breaks. What does it break? All the proteins to peptides, smaller peptides and amino acids. Pepsin breaks all the proteins to smaller peptides and amino acids. Okay, sir. That is the function of pepsin. So you have told me three functions of HCl. It provides acidic medium, it kills all the pathogens, it facilitates the action of pepsin. Now I have a doubt, sir. Yes, Tango. Sir, HCl is corrosive. Yes. That is why it is breaking food. Yes. won't HCl, hydrochloric acid, break the stomach itself? Oh my god, yes, absolutely, because HCl is corrosive. It is a very strong acid. It has a pH of 2, so which makes it very corrosive. It will tear apart anything that hydrochloric acid touches. So how does the stomach manage it? Stomach manages it because it has a mucus layer. A mucus layer protects the stomach, the inner lining of the stomach, from the action of the hydrochloric acid. The mucus layer protects the inner lining of the stomach from the action of the hydrochloric acid. Okay sir, okay sir. So in the stomach, digestion is happening. Now I have a doubt sir. Yes Thamma, please tell me. Let us say I am hanging upside down. Really, let us say I am hanging like this. Usually I am upright. Let us say, what are you doing? You are hanging like this. Okay, you are hanging like this. And if I take in food, right now if I take in food, will the food be able to go up? Yes. Peristalsis is such a strong force that when you hang upside down and take food, peristalsis will push the food against gravity G, 9.8 meter per second square, into your stomach. Isn't peristalsis an amazing force? Okay, let us continue the classes. So once the food reaches the stomach, it has been digested to a certain degree. All the proteins are broken into smaller peptides and amino acids. What is the digested food present in the stomach called as? It is called as chyme. CHYME. It is called as chyme. Okay sir, okay sir. Once the food gets over here into the small intestine starts from this curve. Small intestine starts from this curve present over here. Okay sir, let me ask you a question. What is the difference in digestion in between this part and in between this part? Over here, from mouth to the stomach, all digestion takes place in an acidic medium. Over here, from mouth to the stomach, all digestion takes place in an acidic medium. Even saliva is slightly acidic. After stomach till our anus, all digestion takes place in a basic medium. So food is digested from mouth to stomach in what medium? Acidic medium. So food is digested in small intestine to anus in what medium? Basic medium. So right now, once the food gets out of the stomach, it needs to be converted from acidic to basic. How is this achieved, sir? This is achieved by the secretions of the liver. The liver, the largest gland in the body, secretes something called as bile juice. This bile juice is stored in gallbladder, and the gallbladder releases bile juice periodically whenever a sphincter which is present right over here, opens up. What is the name of this particular sphincter, sir? This particular sphincter is called as pyloric sphincter. Whenever pyloric sphincter opens up, the food is thrown into the small intestine. The small intestine has three parts. In this particular part of the small intestine is called as duodenum. This particular heavily coiled, extensive, long part of the small intestine, which is packed into a compact space, is called as jejunum. The exit of the small intestine is called as ileum. So, small intestine contains three parts: duodenum, jejunum, ileum. Duodenum, jejunum, ileum. Okay, sir. I am comfortable with this particular part. What is the speciality of duodenum, sir? The speciality of the small intestine over here. The speciality of the small intestine over here is that it has the secretions of liver and the pancreas. It has the secretions of the liver and the pancreas. Okay, let us talk about first the secretions of the liver. Secretions of the liver are called as bile juice. Okay, where are they stored? They are stored in gallbladder. There are two main functions for the secretions of the liver bile juice, which is stored in the gallbladder. What does it do? It converts the acidic food from the stomach to basic. Acidic food from the stomach is converted into basic. For what purpose? So that the pancreatic enzymes will act on them. Acidic food from the stomach is converted to basic for the action of the pancreatic enzymes. Okay, sir. What is the second function? Bile salts are present in the bile juice, and these bile salts do a process called as emulsification. What is emulsification? Emulsification is the process by which bile salts break fats from larger globules to smaller globules. What is the meaning of globules? Globules means simply particles. So what are bile salts doing? Bile salts are breaking fats from larger globules to smaller globules. And why is this happening? Larger globules of fat are broken into smaller globules to increase the enzyme action efficiency. These enzymes, which are secreted by the pancreas, need to act efficiently on fats. Hence, these are broken. This process is called as emulsification. What are we obtaining after emulsification? We are obtaining emulsified smaller globules of fat. Emulsified smaller globules of fat. That's basically secretions from liver. Okay, sir. What next? Here, pancreas is also secreting enzymes. So the pancreatic enzymes. What type of enzymes are in pancreas? There is trypsin. Trypsin is digesting proteins. There is lipase. Lipase is breaking down emulsified fat. I just told you bile salts are emulsifying fat. What is lipase doing? Lipase is breaking down emulsified fat. Lipase is breaking down emulsified fat. Okay, sir. Comfortable, sir. What about pancreatic amylase? Pancreatic amylase is converting carbohydrate to glucose. Remember this, wherever amylase is present, carbohydrate is being digested. We had salivary amylase which digested food, carbohydrate in our mouth. We have pancreatic amylase which is going to digest carbohydrates to glucose right here in the initial part of the small intestine. Okay, sir. We also have intestinal juice which is helping in the conversion of proteins to amino acids and fats to fatty acids and glycerol. Fats to fatty acids and glycerol. So the small intestine, the longest part of the alimentary canal, here fit into a very compact space due to extensive coiling. What is it doing? It is digesting all the different components of the food to its completion. All carbohydrates are converted into simple sugars. All proteins are broken into amino acids. All fats are broken into fatty acids and glycerol. So small intestine is the site of complete digestion of not just proteins, carbohydrates and fats. Small intestine is the site of complete digestion. Breaking the food apart into its constituent parts is completed in small intestine. But the function of small intestine does not end here. Small intestine has another special role. What, sir? Small intestine is a place of absorption. Here food is being absorbed. Okay, sir. Where is food being absorbed? It is being absorbed into the bloodstream. Small intestine contains, the inner lining of small intestine contains a lot of numerous finger-like projections. These are called as villi. The small intestine contains numerous finger-like projections in the inside to increase the surface area of absorption. Surface area of absorption. Whenever you want to increase the surface area of absorption, you have many surfaces. Am I right or wrong? Let us say I have this one towel. The surface area of this one towel will be always less than 100 towels hanging together. In a similar way, if I have, rather than having one finger-like projection, if I have millions of finger-like projections in the inner side of the small intestine, and these finger-like projections called villi are richly supplied with blood vessels, richly supplied with capillaries, which give them a lot of energy, which give them a lot of food. It is called as brush border epithelium. It is called as brush border epithelium. So what are villi? Villi are numerous finger-like projections that are present on the inner side of the small intestine, which help to increase the surface area that is needed for absorbing the digested food. Okay, so these villi are richly supplied with blood vessels. Why are they supplied with blood vessels? So that the digested food can be directly absorbed into the blood vessels and then they can be assimilated. So the villi are richly supplied with blood vessels and capillaries. Since these villi are present very, very close to one another, it looks like a toothbrush. Hence it is called as brush border epithelium. Hence the entire thing is called as brush border epithelium. What is brush border epithelium? The finger-like projections will be present very, very close to one another, much like a toothbrush. Hence it is called as brush border epithelium. Okay, sir. Now I am comfortable with small intestine. The entire small intestine is helping to digest food. What is large intestine doing? What is large intestine doing? Large intestine is absorbing water. Large intestine also has a system of villi. This villi absorbs a lot of water. Large intestine is otherwise called as colon. This particular part of large intestine is called as ascending colon because it is going up. This is called as transverse colon because it is going from side to side. This particular colon is called as descending colon because it is coming down. What else? It is coming and opening in rectum, and finally the waste materials of digestion are defecated through the anus. Large intestine, unabsorbed food is sent into the large intestine, and the rest of the food is removed from the rest of the food is removed from the body. The waste materials are removed from the body through the large intestine. We have another sphincter over here called as anal sphincter. What is the function of anal sphincter? Anal sphincter regulates the exit of waste material from the body. The anal sphincter is the only sphincter that you can actually control. When you want to go to the bathroom, what are you doing? You are controlling your anal sphincter and going to the bathroom. So anal sphincter is the only sphincter in the digestive system that you can actually control. So here you have your cardiac sphincter or gastroesophageal sphincter. Here you have your pyloric sphincter. Here you have your anal sphincter, which help to regulate the flow of food through the digestive system. Okay, sir, I am comfortable with this. So food is digested and absorbed in the small intestine. I am happy with it. Now let me ask you a question. Herbivores have a very long, not exactly large, I am sorry. Herbivores have a very long small intestine, but carnivores don't really have a very long small intestine. Why, sir? The main function of small intestine is digestion of cellulose. Where is cellulose present in more quantities? Cellulose is present in more quantities when we are dealing with herbivores, because herbivores are consuming more plants. Plants have more cellulose. Cellulose is contained more in plants. What is cellulose? The part of the plant that is crunchy, that is chewy, it is called as the part of the plant that cannot be easily swallowed. It is called as cellulose. So herbivores are eating grass because they need a longer small intestine for cellulose to be digested. What is the function of small intestine? Small intestine primarily helps in the digestion of cellulose because cellulose is very hard to digest. Cellulose is very hard to digest. Okay, sir. Carnivores are eating meat. Why, sir? Because they have a small intestine, and that a smaller small intestine. Look at the poetry of it. Carnivores are eating meat because they have a smaller small intestine, and the meat is easy to digest. Cellulose is hard to digest. So herbivores have longer small intestine. For carnivores, meat is easy to digest. So they have a smaller small intestine. Poetry. Smaller small intestine carnivores. A longer small intestine herbivores. Herbivores, they have cellulose harder to digest. Carnivores, they simply have meat which is very easy to digest. Okay, sir. Let us go for the last topic, which is dental caries. Dental caries are tooth decay. Gradual softening of the enamel and dentine is called as dental caries. Enamel and dentine literally make up your teeth. Enamel and dentine literally make up your teeth. Let us say the mass of bacteria, cells and food particles are combining together to form a sticky layer on your teeth. The mass of bacteria cells and the food particles, are combining together to form a sticky layer over the teeth. Now this sticky layer stops the saliva from reaching the teeth. This sticky layer stops the saliva from reaching the teeth. Saliva must always touch the teeth so that the teeth is cleaned. Saliva has the property to clean the teeth, because what will happen? A lot of bacteria will act on the sugar and acid will be produced. This acid will demineralize enamel. What is demineralization? Demineralization is a process by which minerals are taken away from the enamel. Demineralization is a process by which minerals are taken away from the enamel. So bacteria acts on the sugars, produces acid, and this acid demineralizes the enamel. To prevent this, saliva must always wash the teeth, but the mass of bacterial cells and food particles stick to the teeth. This mass of bacterial cells and food particles that stick to the teeth and prevent the saliva from touching the teeth is called as dental plaque. Because of this dental plaque, the dental plaque stops the saliva from neutralizing the acid, and the microorganisms invade the pulp and cause infection. What does the microorganisms do? They invade the pulp and cause infections, inflammations. This leads to a lot of health problems. This is the idea of dental plaque. Yeah, that's basically digestion. I hope you guys enjoyed digestion. What are the most important questions in digestion? What is the role of hydrochloric acid in digestion? It is a very, very important point. Mucus protects HCl from the action of hydrochloric acid. Sorry, mucus protects the stomach. Mucus protects the stomach from the action of hydrochloric acid. That's an important part. You need to learn secretions from pancreas. Digestion starts in the mouth. That's an important point. Also, secretions of the liver and the functions of the liver are very, very important. Sir, give an extra point about liver. Okay, liver does not really contain any enzymes. Liver does not really contain any enzymes. But even then, liver is very, very important because liver secretes bile juice, which converts acidic food from the stomach into basic. Acidic food from the stomach to basic. Also, liver is responsible for emulsification of fat. Without emulsifying fat, fat cannot be digested. Without emulsifying fat, fat cannot be digested. Yeah? Okay, Tanka. That's it. If you like our lectures, obviously subscribe to us. Click the bell icon. What next, sir? Recommend our channel to your friends. Like our videos. Comment a lot. Also, if you have any doubts, do ask me. I always reply to our comments. We are going to have so much fun learning biology, physics and chemistry together. Thank you. Cheers and thank you.